there is a middle ground where you can walk into taking a break or self-care. And yeah, there's a little bit of guilt, but you see it. You see it over there. You see it for what it is. And that's managing your self-talk. That's managing and getting curious about your feelings and just acknowledging them for what they are. This is your Kick-Ass Life podcast, episode number 311.
This is the Your Kick-Ass Life podcast with Andrea Owen, a no BS guide to self-help and badassery. Because ladies, let's face it, life's too short for it to not kick ass. And here's your host, the girl who serves it up straight with a side of crazy, Andrea Owen.
Hey there, ass kickers. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I am so glad that you are here. Before I jump in, I have a quick announcement. We're doing a giveaway. I'm giving away swag and I'm giving away books to celebrate a brand new website. YourKickAssLife.com is going to have a brand new website. I think it's actually now, as we're doing, like, it's called a soft launch, which makes me laugh for some reason. But officially, the giveaway starts on the 16th of December. And if you just go to yourkickasslife.com/giveaway, you can enter. It costs $0. And I think we have 10 different opportunities to win. I'm giving away Your Kick-Ass Life tote bags. Who doesn't want one of those? And also I'm giving away signed copies of my books. And with the tote bag, I will send you a personalized love note from me. So yourkickasslife.com/giveaway. It's just for a week starting on December 16th. And while you're there, check out the brand new site. I am so excited. It's only been a year in the making. Oy. And I love it. I love the new colors. I love the new pictures. And it's so much of my personality. It makes me very happy. So yourkickasslife.com/giveaway. Happy December. And we are rounding out this month. We are rounding out this year. We are rounding out this decade. And I know I've talked about it last week, or maybe it was the week before about that. I kind of lose track of podcast episodes. I lose track of a lot of things when it comes to time and space. Is anyone else like that? Sidebar, I heard that there are some people whose brains don't really, how do I say this? We struggle in the areas of, I'll give you an example. When it comes time to pick a container for food leftovers, I have a really hard time with this. Like, is it the right size? And it ends up being way too small or way too big. I always cook either way too much or too little spaghetti. And if someone is describing visually something, whether they are describing a dress for me or the layout of a house, or they're giving me directions, you lose me within the first description. Like, I'll get the first description, and then after that, I'm like, nope. And what's interesting is my best friend, Amy Smith, many of you know her, she was trying to describe, we're doing this new podcast that starts in the very beginning of January, not another self-help podcast. And of course we don't have to, but we had a website created for it. And she's describing how she thinks it's going to look. And she's going over, like, here's how I think the homepage is going to be. And this is here. And she knows me well enough that I just glaze over and I'm like, you lose me. So she starts typing it up to show me on, like, a Word document, something really simple. And she says to me as she's typing it up, because she's very visual, she can see things as someone describes them to her very easily. And she said, do you see in pictures? And I said, I don't know. I don't think so. And I'm not even really sure what you mean by that. And she said, okay, so look at your hand, like, put your hand out in front of your face. I'm like, okay. And I do it. And then she said, okay, now close your eyes. Do you still see your hand? And I said, no. And she was like, that's so interesting. And so she's going through this hypnotherapy training, or she's already through it actually. And she was learning a lot about how different people's brains work. And some people see vividly in pictures and some people don't. And I'm one of the people that doesn't. I have a decently hard time with visualizations. I really have to put all of my focus into it and really be open to it to even get anything out of it. So if that's you, hi, it's a thing. Me too. And if you're someone who's not that way, if you're like my friend Amy, please have patience with those of us who have a hard time with visuals and time and space as well. So all that to say, I'm not a really great judge of like how long ago things were, and hence me not remembering exactly when the podcast episode was that I talked about rounding up this decade. But that brings me to what I kind of wanted to say is that coming up, actually, this episode was supposed to be about looking ahead into the new year, into the new decade. And I'm putting that off for a week. It's mostly ready. That podcast is mostly ready with the structure and what I wanted to say for you, because I wanted to put a lot of thought and effort into it for you. And I wasn't quite done with it. And then my life got kind of turned upside down. And when I sat down, when it was, on my to-do list, and when I sat down to record that episode for looking ahead, my first thought was, I need a break from the podcast, and maybe I'll just take the week off because I have so many big things going on right now. And it's not holiday stuff. It's like big life things. I'll get to that in a second. And I thought to myself, well, I could do that. I could just take a week off, and I know that you would all understand because life happens. And then I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to turn the mic on, and I am going to just tell people what's up, because I want to use it as a teaching lesson, a teaching moment, if you will, to talk to you about your own self-care and your own taking a break. And this is not the first time I've talked about this on the podcast. I am a huge proponent of self-care and giving yourself a break. And I know that being able to take a break comes with a lot of privilege, and not everyone has that. There are some of you who are struggling as single mothers, who are struggling working 2 jobs and just don't have that option at all. And I see you. I see you out there. And hopefully this can come to you at a time where things do settle down and you are able to take care of yourself and take a break. And what's going on over here is, sometimes like when life just hands you, not necessarily shit sandwiches, but life hands you a bunch of big things all at once. And that's what's happened over here. And these things just tend to take up a lot of energy and time and your capacity in your life. I have a beloved client, and she, I talk to her mostly every week, and she had some homework assignments, as my clients do. And it was, the Thanksgiving break happened, and I messaged her and was like, how'd you do on this homework assignment and that assignment? Because I hold my clients accountable, and she was feeling badly because she hadn't gotten to it. And I said, knowing what she has going on in her life right now, I said, maybe your assignment was just that you needed a break, and maybe quote unquote Thanksgiving break was really kind of what it's supposed to be, and that you don't do any of the deep introspective work and all of the assignments that are on your to-do list. It's okay. And, she felt so much better, like saying, thank you for understanding. And yeah, maybe I do need a break. So what's going on over here? I'll start with the kind of heavier stuff. One of the things is that I think I told a lot of you that we were thinking about getting a new dog, and we were really excited about it. For those of you that don't know, we rescued our dog Giselle 6 years ago when we lived in the state of Utah from a German Shorthair Pointer rescue. German Shorthair Pointers are a hunting breed, although we aren't bird hunters. Is that what they call them? Duck hunters? I don't know. But they are primarily bred for that. And we know that also a lot of breeders don't sell puppies to people who don't hunt. It's this whole thing that we just try not to get too involved in. I can kind of understand, but whatever. But the rescue just wants to get them to good, loving homes and they're very active breed. And so anyway, I could go on and on just about how wonderful these dogs are. So we adopted Giselle in, I don't remember what year it was, but she was 4. It was 6 years ago. And she has been the best dog. We got so lucky. Shopify's already taken the cash register online, helping millions sell billions around the world. But did you know that Shopify can do the same thing at your retail store? Give your point of sale system a serious upgrade with Shopify. With Shopify, you get a powerhouse selling partner that effortlessly unites your in-person and online sales into one source of truth. Track every sale across your business in one place and know exactly what's in stock. Connect with customers inline and online. Shopify helps you drive store traffic with plug-and-play tools built for marketing campaigns from TikTok to Instagram and beyond. Get hardware that fits your business. Take payments by smartphone, transform your tablet into a point-of-sale system, or use Shopify's POS Go mobile device for a battle-tested solution. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/noise, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/noise to take your retail business to the next level today. Shopify.com/noise. I have definitely been in that place where my paycheck ran out before the next one got here. Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, so why should payday? The money you earn can be in your hands today with Earnin. Earnin is an app that gives you access to your pay as you work, up to $100 per day or up to $750 per pay period. Just download the Earnin app and verify your paycheck. Then access up to $100 a day as you work and leave an optional tip. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. You can use Earnin to pay for a girls' night out, a last-minute gift for a loved one, or even summer camp for the kids. Make Earnin a part of your financial routine and join Earnin's over 3.5 million customers who say things like, when I think about Earnin, I think about financial stability, security. It gives me a lot of peace of mind. Download Earnin today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the Earnin app, type in Noise under podcast when you sign up. It really, really helps the show. Noise under podcast. Subject to your available earnings, location, daily max, and pay period max. See earnin.com/TOS for details. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Bank products are issued by Evolve Bank and Trust, member FDIC. Because, when you rescue a dog or adopt a dog, you don't know their history a lot of times. You don't know what has happened to them and all their behavior things and their quirks and things like that. But we just got really lucky with her. She was completely trained. She's sweet. She's sort of indifferent to other dogs. She's not super social, but she's not aggressive or anything like that. She can really take it or leave it. She's just been phenomenal. And a lot of you know her because of my Instagram stories. And she's just been my coworker, my best friend. I stay home and work. So she's here all the time. She's snoring 4 feet away from me as I am recording this. And we thought if we're going to get another dog, we should probably do it soon. She's 10 now, so she's probably not when she's super geriatric. So we applied to the rescue out here. Got passed up for a couple of dogs because we applied too late. If you don't get on it the first day that they go up on, these dogs go up on the website, then you're too late. And it's very competitive out here. It was not the case when we were in Utah. They had a surplus of dogs than they did applicants. And out here, it's the other way around. And we got approved for a dog, for a 2-year-old male, and he was just full of piss and vinegar, lots of energy. They didn't know a whole lot about his background except his age, and that the owner surrendered him in Kentucky and said he can't hunt. And that was all they knew. We got him. He does have a lot of energy. He peed in my house several times, marking because we have another dog. And the foster mom said, oh my gosh, she's never done that in my house. Well, she doesn't have another dog. So we were like, okay, that's something we can deal with. We also needed to get an electric fence. I needed to hire a trainer because it's pretty obvious that he was an outside dog, that he's never been in a house unless they let him just run wild. He gets up on the counters. He jumps. He's just wild. He's like a bull in a china shop. And unfortunately, the second night that we had him, there was a dog fight. And I believe that it was a dominance issue, that my dog was trying to assert her dominance and be the alpha dog. And he had just had enough of her doing that. And she was never aggressive towards him. But, they kind of show their teeth and their hair stands up on their backs and they kind of growl a little bit. She had done that to him a few times. And apparently he had enough and basically attacked her. And it was pretty brutal. I do really great in a crisis, but not when it's animals. And this is the second time I've been responsible for dogs. The other time I was babysitting my sister's dogs and a fight broke out, and I was also watching her children, and I was pregnant at the time. It was dramatic and awful, and it had never happened before. I'm like, is this just my luck or what? But luckily when my husband was there, broke up the fight. The other dog was not harmed at all. And Giselle, our dog, got the brunt of it and was bleeding a lot. Had to take her to the emergency vet. She required stitches and a really cute hat. And it's blue. It's very cute. And unfortunately, when we were in the garage and I'm tending to my dog's wounds, I had that just pit of my stomach feeling that we cannot keep him. And my worry was, and I'm sure that there's people out there who are like, how could you send him back to the rescue? You must not love the breed enough. You just make it work. You do whatever you can to make it work. And I'm willing to pay for trainers and, get an electric fence and do all of these things for him. But I cannot put my senior dog at risk. And my biggest worry is that what if we left our, 12 and a half year old son home alone for an hour, as we do sometimes to go to the grocery store or whatever, and a fight breaks out, and I don't want him trying to jump in. And anyway, I had no intention of going into all these details with you. It's been one of those just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then we had to keep them separated for, as we contacted the rescue. And the really good news is that, and the rescue has been phenomenal, and getting him back to the foster family that had him before. And now we know more about him, and he's not a bad dog. I wasn't mad at him. He's not. He's just, they're dogs. At the end of the day, they're dogs. And again, we know very little about his background, and now we know that particular thing. And so he can be rehomed probably to a home that doesn't have any other dogs. And he's going to be a great, great dog. And maybe I'm just like saying all this out loud because I need to hear it, because I'm still so devastated and disappointed and sad about the whole thing. But I've had that going on the last handful of days. And then someone I'm very close to is really struggling with their health, and I'm having to do the heavy lifting on helping this person get the help and support that they need. And this person will be fine, but it's kind of fallen all on my shoulders, which I have accepted, and I am getting some help for it. It's not all on me, I shouldn't say, but those are two very big, meaty things that are going on. And then the third thing is a really great thing, and that is my book proposal is out to publishers, and there are, within the next couple of days, so by the time this comes out next week, I'm recording this 7 days before it goes out, we will have a book deal, and I will know who is going to be the publisher and editor of my next book. So it's really, that part is really, really exciting, like giddy with excitement. I can't believe I have multiple publishers who are interested. And it just is, I could not have done this without all of you. So thank you to all of you listening who have stayed with me and read my last book, or maybe both books. And some of you have bought both the print and audio version. Like, I cannot thank you enough. And I cannot even contain my excitement about how just elated and ecstatic I am to write this next book. This is going to be 100% like leveling up and the next iteration of Your Kick-Ass Life and Andrea Owen, and the message that I have for all of you. I believe that this is the book that is going to really showcase my strengths. And did you catch that little like question mark at the end of that? I'm going to say that again. This is going to showcase my strengths, period. And I cannot wait to share it with you. So all that said, this is 3 really big things that are going on in my life. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to wait on the episode about looking ahead, because that is more of a teaching episode in terms of its structure. And I want it to be something that you walk away with having done some deeper introspective work for yourself and what you want for 2020 and the entire decade. And I, again, needed to put more thought and time into it instead of just rushing through it and pushing it out just because it said so on my calendar. So how I want to turn this towards you is to ask you, where do you push forward and maybe rush through things and just sort of get things done that could really wait. Where do you do that where it's costing you so much energy and stress and time and maybe money and feeling like you do it out of obligation, where you feel like maybe it's perfectionism rearing its ugly head and saying, you have to do this or else fill in the blank, or else my boss will think badly of me. I might get in trouble. I won't be living up to my potential, or maybe just I have to do it because it's on my to-do list and I put it there or someone else put it there. Where can things be moved over? Where can you take a break? And I think sometimes we also think that when we are ready, quote unquote, ready to take a break, we need to be guilt-free. Like, when does that day ever come? When we do all these self-care things that we hear about, it needs to be at a time and place where from liftoff, from the get-go of the self-care regimen, whatever that is, whether it's taking a break or taking a bath or, going to bed early or whatever it is, that we need to be all in and be like, yes, this is what I need. And there's no guilt. There's no second guessing. There's no inner critic. I don't know that ever happens. I think personally, I've gotten to a place where that is at a minimum, but this is because I have been working on this. I've been working on the railroad for that. Like, it's been a long, long road of managing my self-talk, really sinking into the gray area. And it doesn't need to be dichotomous. It doesn't need to be, I'm either 100% on this way or 100% on that way. There is a middle ground where you can walk into taking a break or self-care. And yeah, there's a little bit of guilt, but you see it. You see it over there. You see it for what it is. And that's managing your self-talk. That's managing and getting curious, I should say, about your feelings and just acknowledging them for what they are. Like, oh yeah, there's some guilt there. That's really interesting. I always like to say, well, that just happened. Yeah, well, I just felt guilty about that. And so what if you could just get curious about it? And I think that can be an easier entry point for people when it comes to self-care and taking a break. And can we have a better word for self-care in 2020? We need to vote on that, because I feel like it's just become almost trite and it's like one of those personal development buzzwords that I think has just become a little bit cliche, but for the sake of whatever, I'm just going to use it. But yeah, where can you sort of live in the gray area when it comes to your self-care? Where can you let yourself off the hook for having feelings about taking a break? I know that this time of year can be so difficult for people. Just work can kind of be crazy as you're trying to get things done before maybe your company shuts down for the holidays. Maybe you have a lot of pressure to buy everyone presents in your family. Maybe it is crazy because you have children that are in school and there's class parties, and maybe you're a working mom and you can't volunteer as much as you, and you forgot that you were supposed to buy an ornament, and what am I supposed to get for the teachers? And there's all these things, we get pulled in all these different directions. And you were also told, what if you just cancel Christmas? Trying to find that balance is like, oh my God. So I ask you, what can you just push off until January? What can you just look at your to-do list and either move it over or just say, you know what, that doesn't need to be done at all. So that's all I got for you. I know I titled this episode, I Got Nothing, but hopefully that was something. And I just have so much love in my heart for all of you listeners. And I look at the downloads every week and think of every single one of you. You are so much more than a number to me. You are people who take the time to tune in because you give a shit about your life. And that says so much. I love you all. And I cannot wait to do two things. Well, I can't wait for a lot of things, but specifically, I can't wait for the episode to come out where we're going to look ahead There's going to be a lot of teaching in that episode. And I cannot wait for the new episode the new podcast that I have coming out in January with Amy Smith. A quick word on that. We still need your questions. It is going to be so fun. I just kind of hope you guys love it. It's so funny. We've recorded the first 4 episodes already, and we think it's hilarious. And it is a different podcast than our respective podcasts. And if you go over to notanotherpod.com, you can fill out a quick form and ask us your personal development questions. We do seriously answer them, and we also make it light and fun and funny. And I can't wait for you to hear the intro song. Like, it's just, if you don't think it's funny, I'm going to kind of be a little bit disappointed, but hopefully you'll at least get a chuckle and a giggle from it. So notanothepod.com, that podcast drops January 3rd. And until next week, Ass Kickers, I will see you all out in cyberspace. Bye-bye.
I'd like to introduce you to the Minimalist Moms podcast. It's hard enough being a mom, and the last thing you need is stress from too much stuff and an overcrowded schedule. For too long, I lived with the mindset that bigger was better, and the more I added to my life, instead of feeling better, I felt overwhelmed. It was time for a radical new mindset. Less is more. I'm not into extremes. I didn't throw everything away. My brand of minimalism is more about adding than subtracting. Get rid of the excess to make room for what you love. In other words, it's about living life with purpose. I hope you'll listen in, and my guest and myself can inspire you to think more and do with less. The Minimalist Moms podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts.